Let's take along tales, friendship stories. Cinderella, a new mouse. Who wants crumpets and strawberries? Cinderella asked. She was having breakfast with her mouse friends.
Me!
Gus cried.
Thank you, Cinderelly,
Jack said. Just then, a royal page stepped into the room. Madame Laurent has arrived. Madame Laurent was the prince's cousin who was visiting from far away. Madame Laurent swept in. You must be Cinderella, she said as she hugged the princess. I've heard so much about you. Psst, Jack said. He grabbed Gus's arm and pointed to a fancy little house that Madame Laurent had brought with her. Curious, they crept toward it. Oh, Madame Laurent said, allow me to introduce my beloved friend, Babette. She picked up the house and Babette walked onto her hand. Jack and Gus couldn't believe it. Babette was a mouse. Jack and Gus waved, but Babette just stared at them. Would you like a crumpet, Babette? Cinderella asked. The mouse took a piece and ran back into her house.
She should have said thank you,
Jack whispered to Gus.
Rude,
Gus agreed. Let's have a tour of the castle, Madame Laurent said. Jack, Gus, perhaps you can give Babette a tour too, Cinderella suggested.
This is the library,
Jack said.
Lots of books,
Gus said, pointing. Babette looked around but didn't say a word.
The royal throne room,
Jack said, spreading his arms wide. Babette nodded.
Bell tower,
Gus announced. Bong! Babette gently tapped the bell.
This is the ballroom,
Jack said.
Do you have one at home? Yes,
Babette said. Gus and Jack looked at each other. Babette was no fun.
Babette, what a snob,
Jack told Cinderella later.
Stuck up,
Gus agreed. Now, Cinderella said gently. You hardly know her. Give her a chance. Just then, Cinderella glanced down at her bare wrist. My bracelet, she gasped. It must have fallen off during Madame Laurent's tour.
We'll help you find it, Cinderelly,
Jack cried. They went to Madame Laurent first, but she hadn't seen the bracelet.
I can help you look,
a soft voice said. It was Babette, stepping out from her little house. The three mice scurried from room to room. They looked behind curtains, on top of cabinets, and even in the tea room.
Jack, Gus,
Babette cried. They hurried over to her. Babette had found Cinderella's bracelet.
Tell Cinderelly,
Gus said.
Oh, I couldn't,
Babette said, blushing. Suddenly, Jack understood. Babette wasn't a snob. She was just shy.
Be brave,
Gus said. He and Jack took her to find Cinderella. Cinderella was delighted to have her bracelet back. Thank you, Babette, she said. You must have very sharp eyes. Babette blushed again.
You saved the day,
Jack said. Gus had a wonderful idea. He grabbed Babette's paw.
Hide and seek,
he squeaked. The three new friends ran off to play. When Madame Laurent's visit was over, Jack and Gus were very sorry to say goodbye to Babette.
Come back soon,
Gus said. Babette waved.
I'll miss you,
she said. When the carriage was out of sight, Jack turned to Cinderella.
Babette,
he said.
She's so much fun. The best,
Gus chimed in. Cinderella smiled. I agree, she said. Thank